Hello again. Today I'm going to be doing something a bit different than what I usually do on both of my main YouTube channels. Today I'm going to be watching, giving commentary, and I guess reacting to a short film that I myself directed about 6 years ago today, as of when I'm putting this video up. This is the second short film that I directed from 2018, The Unusual Suspect USA edition. And just so you get a little idea of what it's about before I start, as many of you might know on the Movie Buff Reactions channel, I do a lot of reactions to The Unusual Suspect. He's a movie reviewer, video game guy, does all sorts of different content. I'm a huge fan. And back in 2018, still very shortly after I discovered him, I believe I was collaborating on a bunch of videos on my main YouTube channel with my old high school friend, Matt Nugent. And I don't know if it was before or after we started working together in 2017, but I started to notice Matt and Ross John Fearnley, The Unusual Suspect, have a bit of a resemblance to each other. So that gave me the idea to make a short film that parodied The Unusual Suspect, and I pitched the idea to Matt and he was down for it. And after I wrote a little script, I brought him over and we made it happen. And another thing that kind of inspired it was this reviewer, Dina Natali, aka Cybercat, who had a thing going for many years. I'm not sure if she still does, but she would do vlog reviews of the British show Red Dwarf. One of the videos she did when covering that series was something called Red Dwarf USA, a failed attempt to make an American version of Red Dwarf. And it was just something about seeing a remake of a British show where they just put the letters USA in there that made me think The Unusual Suspect USA could be kind of funny. And aside from Matt, another person featured in this short, like, I'm not in this short as an actor. I do appear briefly, but only at the end. And aside from Matt, the only other actor in this is Cassar, who at the time Matt was dating. And I just thought it'd be nice to include her because I'd done a video with both of them before on the main channel, and I just thought it'd be cool to have them both together, to have actors working under me in a project where I'm not part of the cast. And that's pretty much all that went into the pre-production stage. So without further ado, let's watch and listen to me ramble on about how this little short film came together and why it's probably not one of the best examples of my work, but regardless, let's go. Movie Buff Productions, the somewhat official name I gave myself, and The Unusual Suspect USA edition. Just for anyone wondering why it's red, blue, and white instead of red, white, and blue, I fucked up when putting it together. That was my mistake. And there he is, Matt Nugent. And when you see later in the short, you'll, like when I put the picture of the actual Unusual Suspect in the corner, you'll really get an idea of just how closely they resemble each other. And when I did rewatch this recently, just so I could refamiliarize myself, just so I would know what I need to talk about for this video. And I guess there's a lot of editing choices here that I'm not proud of. Like, there's a lot of moments where the sound just goes completely mute, and it just it's very grating on the ears. And at the time I was very self-conscious of the echo going on in the room, and I hadn't yet become completely skilled with editing, like professionally. And at the beginning here, his character that Matt's playing talks about reviewers he enjoys, and one of them that he mentions is the Blockbuster Buster. And the Blockbuster Buster, Eric Rodriguez, his wife, the sadly passed Marsha Kent Rodriguez, she was his producer, and she played a big part in the production of his show, and she saw this, and she was a fan of the reactions I did to her husband's work, and she actually contacted me, and we actually were able to talk on the phone, where she gave me some advice on editing. Like, she critiqued, but politely critiqued the flaws of this, such as the bad sound editing, how some shots, there were like a lot of pauses at the end of certain lines that went on a bit too fucking long, and also this bit at the end I'll get to that went on a bit too long. But the advice she gave, it was really good, and I still hold it pretty close to the heart, and I still use the advice she gave me to this day when I'm editing my own work. And before I forget completely about what I'm doing here, the unusual suspect, this character that Matt's playing, he's a recently new YouTuber who wants to break into the movie review scene, which is pretty different now versus 2018, but that's what he wants to do, and he brags about how he has chosen the name of the unusual suspect, believing that no one has ever used that name before, and he acts real smug and full of himself as he brags about the name. And I just thought that would be funny, because it's often a stereotype that movie reviewers have huge egos, and yeah, and that's another thing. Even though it's a parody of The Unusual Suspect, I did not want to make it in a way where it doesn't acknowledge the actual man himself. Like, this is all based around some pompous ass who is unaware that there's already someone who's taken the moniker that he's trying to adapt. And the movie that he's reviewing, as you can see, is Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. And the reason I chose that one is because the unusual suspect himself has reviewed all of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, and it's a good movie for anyone to tackle. So I thought that'd be the good one to have him talk about, and then later have him discover the actual guy's review. And there's a lot, in a way, it's kind of its own little mini review of William Dafoe as Nosferatu. Anyway, it's a good movie for him to talk about, and in a way it's kind of an actual small review of Spider-Man. I'm not sure it's anything that I would actually do myself, but it was something that I envisioned like a guy like this would do. And that's the thing here about Matt that I really like, is how animated he got. Like, some of the stuff he does here, I remember, it's been a while, I remember he actually did in the script I wrote, but some stuff, like his hand gestures, his inflections, that was all him. And admittedly, he's not the most trained actor, but he was down for it, and his eyebrow movements, his smile, like, Matt has a very goofy, a very warm, kind of cute smile that I felt makes it very hard not to get into. Like, I watched it, and there's a lot of problems here. Like, there's a lot of stuff here that I'm very embarrassed by in terms of editing, but Matt's performance, I enjoy. Like, if there's any flaws to it, it's because I didn't edit it properly, but he's very, yeah, he's very funny in how he goes all about it. And we're nearing the end of the review part here, but
brutal final showdown that would definitely make you flinch.
This segment coming up here, where he's like uploading the review. You'll see it in a minute. This part is virtually, they're in the sign-off. This part where he's uploading it, it's pretty much a line-by-line rip-off of a scene from the religious parody comedy. I love that Smooth movie does with his foot. It's Jesus Bro by Brad Jones, aka the Cinema Snob. It's basically a line-for-line knockoff of a scene from that movie where a pompous YouTuber has uploaded a video. And if there was any jokes that I regret from this, it would be that scene, because it's not even borrowing, it's just straight up fucking theft. And that's the only one I regret. And if I could see Brad someday, I would be like, I am so fucking sorry.
Filmed it, edited it, uploaded it.
But yeah, here's Grace, Cassar, Matt's at the time girlfriend, they're not together anymore, who came in, and her performance, with the exception of maybe 2 or 3 lines, is entirely in her face. This is where he's talking about how he's chosen the name of the unusual suspect, unaware that there's actually someone with that name, and as you can see, she's clearly aware, and she's standing there nervously, knowing that she's gonna have to break the bad fucking news to him that this gimmick that he's going for has already been done. And I love what Grace did here. Like when we did this, I gave her a description of what type of emotions, and she just went with it, and it came off just so excellently. And blissfully unaware. And now the real dude. This is the actual Unusual Suspects Spider-Man review, and as you can see, they had some more hair, and this is the one other part that Marcia Kent Rodriguez critiqued, feeling that it went on a bit too long. And yeah, I so fucking love that shocked look, and Grace again is just incredibly acting without words. But yeah, I do agree. This bit goes on a bit too long. It just keeps cutting back, and if I was to do this now, I think I would just have like 2 or 3 brief cutting back and forth. I wouldn't play the bits for this long. But at the time, I just I couldn't decide on. I couldn't cut away from their reaction shots. I was just too much. I was having too much enjoyment. I wanted to work all of them in, so I just kept playing the actual suspect video. But yes, I agree. It goes on way too goddamn long, and yeah, I know I'm probably sounding like a broken record, but I really wish I hadn't dragged this bit out as long as it did. Although, if there's any enjoyment here, it's from the actual guy's review, because Ross John Fearnley, he's really skilled. He knows how to take something goofy, like put the clips against the actual bits he's doing, and just make it so goddamn hilarious. Yeah, I probably showed this shocked face of Matt way too much. And here's how it ends.
Cocksucker!
Here's a fun fact. That final take took like 23, I don't know, over 20 fucking takes to do. I was just so fucking obsessed with getting that last shot. And by the end of that run, Matt pretty much broke down, fell on the couch screaming, cocksucker! It was pretty much my Stanley Kubrick moment, making the actor break. And this end credits here. Yeah, acknowledge the real guy, and I talked over it, but I had a little thank you there for Nancy Crawford, my grandmother, and Jennifer Crawford, my mother, who helped out behind the scenes. But yeah, this was the short, and there's one last bit here, not part of the short story, but one last bit. There, so you can see the resemblance they share. There. That's it. We got it. And this is my little director appearance.
Thank you for doing this, YouTube Grace. And
there I am, where I just had the single mustache, no beard, and I didn't need glasses. This is so fucking cute, it's retarded, but it's awesome. And yeah, that was The Unusual Suspect USA edition, the second short film I ever attempted to make, and looking back on it, there are some bits here that I think are really funny that made me laugh when I rewatched it recently. Unfortunately, the bad editing really hurts the ability, I feel, to enjoy it. I might possibly do a remaster of it someday, maybe where I could fix the audio or pace it better, like not have so many awkward pauses after the line reads. It's something I've considered doing, but yeah, that was my second work, and I just thought it'd be fun, even though it's not like a magnificent anniversary number. I thought maybe do a little commentary, because it's now 6 years old, which is fucking insane. And it's not a short that I go back and rewatch a lot. Like, it had been a couple of years, I think, since I had watched it in its entirety. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Like, Matt and Grace, they were really nice to work with, but I'll be honest, I haven't seen or spoken to either of them in many years. Not that there was any falling out or anything, it's just they moved away, went to very far away out of state college, and as it happens when friends move away, you just lose touch, and eventually just gotta move on, let it go. But so, like, I do, there's a lot here I do enjoy, but it can be a little sad knowing I haven't seen these people again, and not sure I ever will. But I am proud of a lot of the work that I did with the two of them when I had the chance, and while it's unlikely, if the opportunity ever came up to work with them again, I'd be all for it. And if there's anything that I forgot to mention when talking about the short, I made sure to make a few notes. Let's see, I mentioned that. Ah, yes. Here's the first of some fun behind-the-scene bits. There's a part where the USA suspect is talking about Mary Jane, played by Kristen Dunst, who Matt said he had a crush on at one point, so I had him say her name in a very pervy way. But he, when talking about her, the character, talks about how she's very annoying and she screams so much that you'd swear she was getting sodomized by a cactus. And yeah, I can get pretty nasty with some of my jokes, but the original line was actually supposed to be, you'd swear she was getting anally raped by a cactus, and after consulting with somebody like before filming, I decided to change it because it pretty much means the same thing, and sodomize just sounds funnier. And it was actually like the first of two rape jokes in the short. He says at one point, the people who hate Spider-Man hate him like he had raped their sister. If you know me, if you get to know me long enough, you know that I love some edgy humor, and rape jokes are on that list. I know that probably sounds terrible, but I don't give a fuck. I love to push the envelope when I can, and this is a really interesting behind-the-scene story. Grace, she was down for appearing, but both she and Matt, they had their busy schedules, and there was a little uncertainty that Grace would even be able to appear, like show up. So on the chance that she wasn't able to come in and film, I wrote an alternate version of the character who shows up, where instead of this guy's girlfriend, it's his best friend, and I would have cast myself as that character. Luckily she showed up and we were able to use her, and I talked about how much I loved her facial acting, and even though she only has a few lines, I honestly think Grace is the probably the best person I've had work for me as an actor. And I know that she was into dancing, like doing dancing on stage at one point, so maybe she just had better experience working for the crowd than Matt did. And this is a this is a good story. I didn't want Matt, because Matt has to wear glasses. His eyesight is pretty bad, and I didn't want him to wear them because the unusual suspect, Ross John Fearnley, doesn't wear glasses, so he agreed to take them off for the shoot, which pretty much made him blind. The script was in his lap, like, you can't see it, but whenever he had to do his lines, he would look down and read, just because it was so close. And Grace, I wanted her character to wear glasses because she wore glasses at one point when I knew her. She showed up without her glasses, and I wanted her character to have glasses. So when we filmed her bit, I simply had her put on Matt's glasses, which are not her prescription. So both of them were pretty much doing this whole short fucking blind, and by the end, they both had major goddamn headaches. And I'd feel bad, but it worked out in my favor. So there. And there's any last thing to mention, it would be the characters' names. The credited name in the end credits for Matt's character is Rick Tom Kernlin, which was just meant to be a parody of Ross John Fearnley, and it's not the best parody name, maybe a little too on the nose, but I thought it would work. And as for Grace's character, the girlfriend, I named her Beth Vibemerd, and I have no fucking idea why I chose that for a last name. I just did, and it's been 6 years, and I don't know what else to say that I haven't already said, other than it's not perfect. I'm seriously thinking of going back and reworking it at some point, but there is some stuff here that I am really, I do still find really enjoyable, and I'm glad I was able to make it. I was planning to make another short film at some point a few years ago, but the pandemic got in the way. I lost touch with Matt and Grace, and it's been a rocky couple of years as far as kind of figuring out how to make content and what type of content I want to make. And I am interested in doing another short film, but nothing's really hit me creatively. I've been sticking mainly to the movie reviews and the movie reactions lately, and I hope the people who watch me on both channels enjoy what I've been able to put out, and I hope you enjoyed this commentary / reaction to my own work. Again, I'm embarrassed by a big chunk of it, but I still can laugh at some parts. Almost all entirely owed to Matt and Grace, and I don't know where they are right now, but I hope they're doing well, going strong, and if you like this, maybe check out the original if you already haven't. Maybe make your own riff commentary, because I'm sure it's got a lot of bad moments to poke at, but either way, thanks for watching if you've made it this far, and I will see you again hopefully soon.